2 points and maybe less than 24 hours. The wait is almost over for the Reds as they look to secure that first Premier League title on a night of sweltering heat. Jurgen Klopp's side too hot to handle for Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace, running out 4-0 winners on their Anfield return. Welcome to the Debrief Live here on the Blood Red YouTube channel. I'm Guy Clarke, as you can see. Alongside me, the Echo's Theo Squires. Well, Theo, on Sunday at Goodison, it was somewhat of a damp squib. It was anything but tonight.
Yeah, that was a bit better, wasn't it? For considering we've been waiting 3 months for football to return. Merseyside derby was a bit underwhelming. There weren't many goal-scoring opportunities. And it just felt like a stroll sort of thing. Liverpool were below par. They're obviously missing Andy Robertson. They're missing Mohamed Salah. They lack balance. They didn't look like a cohesive team. You put your best players back in tonight, and it's like, wow, Liverpool are back. This is the team that fans have adored all season long, and you can see just how special they are. I'm sure a number of fans like myself have been watching Manchester City since the Premier League returned, and you've just been thinking, wow, this Manchester City team is so good. How are Liverpool 20, 23, 25 points ahead of them? And then you go and see Liverpool put in a performance like that, and you go, that's how they're 20 points, 23 points, 25 points ahead of them, because they are just as good, if not better. They've shown it all season long, and you have all the cogs in the right places, and it just comes together like that marvellously on the pitch.
Yeah, as you say, it was so different. Jurgen Klopp actually in his pre-match press conference saying exactly what you just said there about Man City, seeing them, thinking, crikey, how well have Liverpool done to be this far clear? 23 points it is now. We'll get the maths out the way immediately. Liverpool currently then on 86 points, which coincidentally was the same number they got in 2009 when they weren't quite able to obviously see off Manchester United, who won the title that year. That one of the hard luck stories for Liverpool. Manchester City at the moment, the way that their fixtures obviously go, 8 more games to play, they can only get to 87. So should they fail to beat Chelsea tomorrow at Stamford Bridge, as we said right at the top, Liverpool would be champions. It could, Theo, be less than 24 hours away.
Yeah, it's strange to think that we're that close to being all over. I'm not sure what I've been more impatient for, Liverpool to clinch this title, for the barbers to reopen so I could get my haircut. I think it's just about the football. But Liverpool fans, they've been waiting 30 years for this, then they've been waiting 3 months for this. And it's a bit surreal that it's now so close. It's not just touching distance. It's like in your hands, you're just waiting for Jordan Henderson to lift the trophy up. And it's not as though it's a Manchester City game that we're waiting on against a Burnley where you think they're probably going to stroll. It's probably going to be an easy win. They're playing Chelsea. You're going for Champions League football away from home. It's like it really could be all over tomorrow. And if not, it's the perfect game for the neutrals next week against Manchester City to clinch it.
Yeah, it certainly is. Martin Bentley's got in touch with us tonight on YouTube. If you do want to get in touch, give us your thoughts, any questions for myself or Theo, just put them in the comments section. Martin Bentley, the first person to get in touch tonight, says, miles sharper as a whole tonight. We looked like Liverpool again. And we'll talk about the goals because there were some really nice teamwork and team moves in the goals, as well as obviously that individual strike from Fabinho, but it was Trent who got it all going. And I suppose as soon as that free kick went in, Theo, it was effectively, we could have all packed up and gone home from there because it was only going to be one winner.
Yeah, I think there's that feeling pretty much whenever Liverpool play these days, that as soon as they get that first goal, you're just waiting for them to stroll, win. And we've had a lot of games this season where it's been a late show, hasn't it, where they've won by the odd goal and it's come in the 80th plus minute. But when Liverpool get an early goal, you know they're going to get the job done. I think they said on commentary it's only like the second time this calendar year. I think they've been 2-0 up at half-time. It was something crazy like that. But especially with no fans at Anfield, when it's so long since Liverpool lost a game at Anfield in the Premier League. I think they've won every game at Anfield in the Premier League. It was just that one goal to settle the nerves, so to speak, to show that you can get the rustiness out the way and just build on a performance. Liverpool, they pretty much did it in the warm-up game against Blackburn when they won 6-0. They got an early goal in that, and then it just a stroll. You can't stop them, and it was same again tonight.
Yeah, word for Fabinho's goal then. Obviously, that the third goal in the game. And, I mean, he scored a crucial one against Manchester City in November, I believe it was, at Anfield at the opposite end. But in front of the Kop, obviously, with all the flags, no fans there. What a hit that was.
Yeah, definitely. It's better than the Manchester City goal in my book. I almost feel sorry for him that he didn't have the fans behind the goal to enjoy the moment with him, because that goal is one of Liverpool's best, if not Liverpool's best of the season. It was like watching it just sped up as soon as he hit it. So much power, so much venom in it. And I don't think anyone expected it. It was this, if it had been the first goal in the game, it would have kickstarted it into life. That's how good a strike it was, and it did come out of nowhere. And you think with Liverpool, they don't tend to shoot from distance. But you'll see the odd Mohamed Salah goal where he'll bend it top corner from 25 yards. But normally you give it to the fullbacks and they'll get the crosses in, and Liverpool get the goals that way, unless it's a set piece like we saw tonight. But Fabinho's got it in his locker. He's shown it a couple of times now. And I think he was a bit miffed that he'd missed a free kick earlier in the game, obviously wanting to try and match Trent Alexander-Arnold. As soon as he knows Liverpool are 2-0 up, he's got a bit of space, 30 yards from goal. He's going to hit it, and he's going to find the top corner. There's nothing Wayne Hennessy could do about that. The same as nothing Wayne Hennessy could do about Trent's free kick.
No, there wasn't. And I suppose for Fabinho, since that ankle injury against Napoli, as we mentioned on the Blood Red channel a number of times, the last game before the lockdown, the home tie with Atletico Madrid in the Champions League last 16, he was dropped for that game. He hadn't been in great form. Of course, he played in that away cup game at Shrewsbury Town, and he didn't quite look the normal Fabinho, but tonight he was back to his domineering best in every asset of the game, whether it be breaking play, getting the assist for Salah, and of course getting his goal. I imagine he was probably high up there in your list of candidates for man of the match, Theo.
Yeah, definitely. He was exceptional tonight. We've been waiting for him to have a big performance since he got that injury. And this is the player Liverpool have been missing. This is why they rated him so highly. For the first half of the season, he was one of the first names on that Liverpool team sheet. And then he sort of got overlooked a bit because Liverpool was so good in December and January. Jordan Henderson as the number 6. But when Jordan Henderson's at number 6, he's more of a deeper player, isn't he? He can pass it around a bit. But what strikes me when you watch Fabinho in that number 6 role, he doesn't stay as a number 6. He still gets forward. He still gets good passes in behind the defences, which is so key to Mane and Salah cutting inside. He can still be that domineering physical presence in the box when he needs to be. He's obviously got a shot in his locker, but then he can cover ground, sprint back to make this sliding tackle at the other end to restart possession, reclaim the ball, or just shrug a player off, edge him off the ball and start attacks. He is so good at what he does when he's at the top of the game. It was a surprise that he took so long to get back to his best, considering it was a good 2 months, wasn't it? I think before the enforced break, where he had returned from injury and he just wasn't at his best performances. And if we'd seen him like this, maybe in the Champions League against Atletico, we could be saying Liverpool is still in the Champions League, because that's how important he is when he is at his best. And thankfully, he's found his form at the right time when Liverpool needs big performances to just get those final few points in the bags to clinch the deal.
Yeah, a goal and an assist for Fabinho, and likewise for Mohamed Salah. Of course, he wasn't involved at Goodison Park. He was on the bench. He didn't come on. I suppose he showed just how crucial he is to Liverpool. 15 goals in 15 home games. We always talk and quantify Mohamed Salah by goals. And I suppose if you do just look at his Anfield return this season, Theo, it has been remarkable. As Matt Addison joins us.
Yeah, Mohamed Salah is an exceptional player, and he will always be one that is almost taken for granted because of how good his first season is. But I think that was his, 17th league goal of the season now, so he's only 2 behind in the race for the Golden Boot. This is just the consistency he's showing. Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, it is so much about balance. So you need your attacking fullbacks on both sides, getting down to the line and getting the crosses in. And you need your forwards, Salah and Mane, with the pace, both cutting inside. Without one, it's never quite the same. When you can unleash Salah, you can unleash Mane, you can see how much more effective it is. And we saw that tonight. He was what Liverpool were missing against Everton, because as good as the rest of the players are in this team, Mohamed Salah has that fear factor. He doesn't have to play well. He will still cause problems because defences are scared of him. Doesn't matter how many men you put on him. You're going to have to kick him to stop him, and he'll probably still find a way to score against you. His goal tonight, we've always said he's got 3 or 4 finishes in his locker that he seems to score week in, week out. One of them's edge of the box where he bends it top corner, and then the others are variations of getting him behind the defence and slotting it in the corners, either a cross goal or in at that near post. This one was the latter. As soon as he got in behind the defence and that ball's down in his chest, there's only one outcome, and that's what happened. Put it in the bottom corner. But his pass as well for Mane's goal, superb. It's just such a good Liverpool attack. We think we spent summer, the spring, talking about Timo Werner, going, oh, Liverpool need Timo Werner, they need this another attacking option. But then that was all three of Liverpool's forwards at their best, combining brilliantly, and there's just no stopping for a good team goal. Where would Timo Werner fit in that? They don't need him when they're playing that well. And this is why Liverpool have been doing so good for the past 2-3 seasons, because this three are the very best at what they do in Europe.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, of course, Ian Doyle and Paul have been at Anfield for the Echo. Working from home, I was going to say in the office, the virtual office, working from home has been Matt Addison, who's jumped on now to join us. Matt, it feels like tonight, really, that the party's beginning to get underway. The title is now within sight, isn't it?
Yeah, complete contrast really to the weekend, wasn't it? It was a fantastic, scintillating attacking performance really from Liverpool. So exciting to watch as we've seen them so many times really, and possibly that was maybe Liverpool's best home performance of this season in the Premier League. Obviously, certainly not the best away from home when you think of the Leicester game and things like that. But just in terms of the fluidity, the link up, as Theo was saying there, between Salah and Mane in particular was just absolutely perfect. And you know, we've seen obviously the two players that were missing, Andy Robertson and Mohamed Salah. They've come in and they've made a huge difference. And certainly Salah in particular was just absolutely on peak form, and obviously missed out at the weekend through injury. But there was no sort of feeling that he was still feeling the strain from that problem that he had over the weekend. It was, you know, absolutely on fire and some brilliant goals. So yeah, the perfect way really to start the title celebrations, which, let's be honest, they've been going on for a little while now. There's been some talk of the gap being reduced, but look, Liverpool are 23 points clear, and we know the permutations by now. The maths is very, very clear. It's quite possible that it could all be confirmed tomorrow night.
Yeah, it certainly could. Elliot Santos has got in touch with us. Come to you first on this, Theo, and Matt, if you just want to jump off the back. He says, great win, and with a little favour for Chelsea, it's curtains. It seems somewhat bizarre that it's Chelsea that Liverpool fans are going to be, I suppose, supporting and wanting to get a result tomorrow night, Theo.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? This game tonight as well, Crystal Palace, if you think back to 13-14, they were the two games that cost Liverpool the title. And now this week, they could be the two games or two teams that win Liverpool the title. There's obviously been such a rivalry with Chelsea for the past 15 years. If you'd said 20 years ago, Chelsea would win a Premier League title before Liverpool, you'd have probably laughed at who had ever said it. And obviously, we've seen how Chelsea have emerged under Roman Abramovich. And then they're still in the mix. And you've had this rivalry, you've had this disdain for them, how they've gone about it at times. But now I think every Liverpool fan will be wanting them to get the result tomorrow. Maybe not win, because we don't need Chelsea to win. A draw would be fine, wouldn't it? They can mess up on the Champions League challenge. So let's have Wolves or someone like that in the Champions League instead. But just take enough points off Manchester City to clinch the title without them having a celebration, and then the party can really begin on Merseyside, even if it is going to have to be behind closed doors for a couple of months.
Yeah, certainly. I think, there'll be a fair few Liverpool fans cheering on Chelsea tomorrow. For me, it'd still be nice for Liverpool to win it when they were actually playing rather than by not playing. But I suppose you can't be too picky at these sorts of times. And yeah, it's interesting, of course, that Chelsea will be the ones looking to take the points. And obviously, if Chelsea do the business and Liverpool are confirmed champions, it won't be Chelsea's doing, of course. It'll be Liverpool's. And there's no doubt about it. They deserve to be champions, not just from performances like what we've seen tonight, but for the entire season. Even when they haven't played well, they've somehow managed to grind out results. And yeah, by far and away the best team in the country. And I think Gary Lineker it was who tweeted before to say, this is, it's a good job this season has finished, because this Liverpool team, it would have been completely unjust if they hadn't have been able to play out these remaining few matches and get the job done of their own accord rather than points per game or some other solution. So yeah, 100% deserved. And whatever happens tomorrow night, we know that within the next week or so, there's going to be celebrations around Liverpool and further afield too.
Yeah, certainly is going to be the case. And a couple of other things to tie up before we go. And Jurgen Klopp's press conference will be coming up on the Blood Red channel this evening, so do keep your eyes out for that one. But Matt, come to you on this one. Nico Williams coming on for his first Premier League appearance for Liverpool. You're someone who takes a keen interest in the academy and seeing players like Nico Williams develop. We've seen him in cup competitions. He almost got a goal at the end to mark the occasion as well tonight.
Yeah, it was a really good cameo from him. I think Jamie Carragher joked on commentary, didn't he, that Trent would be watching on from the sidelines and being a little bit worried, which of course, that was, said in jest, really. But yeah, it was a fantastic performance for somebody of his age, and the fact that he was making his Premier League debut to come on and have so much confidence and just slot straight into that Liverpool team, really. I mean, it wasn't the most difficult game. Maybe if Wilfried Zaha had still been on the pitch, he might have found it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, certainly promising signs from him. And look, we've seen it time and time again. He's had his injury troubles over the last couple of seasons, but there's always been a quality player there. And I think, that's certainly not the last we're going to see of him. I think there'll be a couple of starts, maybe even between now and the end of the season. And going forward, he's going to be a crucial player, I think, for Liverpool. And, he's not the only one, is he? You look at, Harvey Elliott coming on, and Curtis Jones is there as well. So, yeah, plenty of reasons to be excited. And I'm sure, even if Liverpool don't make any moves in the transfer market, as much as it's a bit of a cliche to say it, there might be a couple of new signings in inverted commas from these young players who come through. And yeah, tonight was just a glimpse. It would have been nice to see him get a goal, because I think his performance and the way that he played deserved it tonight. But yeah, it's just one of those that it didn't quite happen for him. But look, sooner or later it will do.
Yeah, and another player who came off the bench, Theo, was Takumi Minamino. Came on for Roberto Firmino, got to play in that central role that a lot of people have been wondering if that is his best position. I think off the top of my head, it's only his 5th Premier League appearance. The first start was at Goodison at the weekend, but some promising touches from him once he came onto the field of play.
Yeah, definitely. He was unfortunate not to get a goal at the end. I think he would have been screaming for Mohamed Salah to put that one across the 6-yard box for him. But this is the position I think we're going to see him in for Liverpool, because he offers the closest that they're going to get to Roberto Firmino. And as we've seen, Liverpool have got such a style now where if you've got like-for-like players, it's a better fit than, say, bringing on Divock Origi. At the weekend, he didn't play badly when he was on the right against Everton, but he is better when he's played centrally. And you can see today, he's just more comfortable. I don't think it's really where he played the most of his football when he was in Austria, but it definitely seems to be where Jurgen Klopp wants to play him. I've had a couple of months where fans, when you see a Liverpool team sheet drop and he's been on it with Origi, you're like second-guessing who's playing where, assuming Origi's the striker. But the pecking order is very much now Minamino is that reserve striker behind Firmino. He is the one who's going to be the one coming off the bench. He will get opportunities between now and the end of the season, whether that's starting, I can imagine it'll be Aston Villa, depending on when the title is won. And it'll be a good chance for Liverpool to see the best of him. I think it was quite telling tonight that from the substitutions, he got his opportunity coming on his favoured central role, but Mohamed Salah stayed on. Obviously, there is a golden boot still up for grabs, and if Mohamed Salah had been substituted, he won't be too happy when he still thinks there's another goal in the mix. So Salah probably won't miss out on as many minutes as Firmino or Mane, but that gives opportunities to the likes of Minamino and to Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones to get the opportunities when they are there. And when you're winning 4-0, it's the perfect opportunity to hand them out. We saw earlier in the season, Ryan Brewster had to be loaned out because Liverpool weren't winning games 4-0. It was the 2-1s and the 1-0s with the late goals. It's nice for him to finally turn on the show and be able to throw a couple of kids out there and see what they can do.
Yeah, Ryan Brewster, a player who's developing nicely at Swansea City as well. Last thing then, before we go, just a quick one for both of you. Fabinho's goal tonight, was that Liverpool's goal of the season?
I called it before and said it was, and soon afterwards, and yeah, for me that was, it was a little bit reminiscent of his strike against Manchester City, but the one tonight was a little bit better for me. It was an absolutely stunning strike, and to be fair, it wasn't the only brilliant goal tonight, but yeah, it was certainly the pick of the bunch for me.
It's the best Premier League one that I can think of, but it's one where you think for a moment and then another goal comes to mind, and then another one. The only other standout one is probably Curtis Jones against Everton in the FA Cup, just because of the whole context of that game. But that was a great moment in that individual game. This Fabinho goal is going to be a great moment in a title clinching, potentially, game. And if Liverpool are robbed of the chance to do it themselves on the pitch by Manchester City dropping points tomorrow, we'll just cling to that goal a bit more as that special moment. I suppose if it does have to come at the Etihad, if Liverpool, say, beat Manchester City or get a late draw and there's a goal like that and there's the drama that clinches the title, the sentiment around that will probably make it better no matter how it goes in. But for now, we can give it to Fabinho. It's a goal he deserved. And if we can do that, we haven't had a player do that for a while for Liverpool, apart from, say, Oxlade-Chamberlain since Steven Gerrard. It'd be nice to see a few more from him over the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, certainly would be. Well, of course, it was the return to Anfield tonight for Liverpool. No fans inside the ground. A 4-0 victory, a 5-star showing. 8 days until the next time the Reds are in action when they're due to play Manchester City away from home. The venue yet to be decided. That all could come down to what happens tomorrow night at Stamford Bridge. We here on the Blood Red channel will keep our eyes gripped to proceedings at Stamford Bridge and see whether Liverpool will be champions in a little under 24 hours' time. As I say, Jurgen Klopp's press conference will be coming up on the Blood Red channel. But from myself, Guy Clarke, Theo Squires and Matt Addison, thank you for joining us here for this debrief live on our Blood Red YouTube channel. Until next time, bye for now.